Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, take me with you. I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change, let the winds of change shape and blow, shape and blow. Now I am willing to start a brand new chapter of my heart. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to make a choice. This new path needs my voice. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to let go. I surrender, and I know I am willing to let go. I surrender. Surrender, and I know I surrender, and I know.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of the Hill Country in Kerrville, Texas. This is Beverly Pryor and I'm the minister here. And I just want to invite you all to take a look at our website at unityhillcountry.org or our Facebook. You may be joining on Facebook this morning. We have lots of content out there and we'd love to share it with you. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And let's just take that intention into a moment of prayer. We'll close our eyes together and just take a deep breath in. And slowly release that breath. The breath allows us to get centered and connect mind, body, and spirit. We connect one with another in this moment, and we open our hearts together in gratitude and appreciation for this opportunity to be together, for this opportunity to continue to be a community regardless of these unprecedented times. We're so grateful that we have this opportunity to come together online, and for anyone who chooses to join us at their convenience at a later date. And we just bless and appreciate each and every one and this moment as we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Our opening statement that we share every week, you may want to say it together as you're at home or wherever you're checking in with us. There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent. Only one presence and one power, and we name it good. This week, our announcements are pretty much the same as last week. We're looking at having a membership class. There's some people that were interested in joining our community before we went into virtual land. And then there's some people that have actually expressed an interest since we've been communicating strictly online. So end of July, first part of August, that's what I'm targeting. I don't have the exact dates, but if you're interested, just call Mandy at the office and let her know so that we can make sure that we give you an invitation to the class. If you just want to learn about unity, the unity movement, New Thought in general, and unity of the whole country, and some basic metaphysical concepts that are the foundation of unity, you can take the class. You don't have to join. It's just required to join. And of course, membership is required. Taking that step to join is required if you ever want to be on the board or the finance team, in roles of responsibility like that. So let us know. The number at the office is 830-896-7575. And you can speak with Mandy Monday through Thursday between 10 and 2, or just leave a voicemail. She'll call you back. Tuesdays, Patsy Sherman is still facilitating the Lost Christianities. It's one of the great courses, 4 o'clock, and they watch one of the lectures and have a discussion. It's a really enjoyable time, and I really appreciate Patsy offering her time and her talents to hold that space and give a place for people to continue to come together outside of Sunday morning. You can, of course, listen to any of the recordings that we've made on our Facebook page. You can listen on YouTube and our website at unityhillcountry.org. And today, I'm really excited to introduce to you Jennifer Ferren. Jennifer is a very soulful singer and songwriter. She also gives keynote addresses, which I didn't really realize till reading her bio. So we may have her back to do the songs and a talk in the near future. But right now, she, I guess maybe not in the last few months, but she likes to travel the country, visiting, performing, doing different talks, and presenting at music conferences and New Thought churches, centers, and organizations. She has a perfect blend of rock, pop, jazz, R&B, and gospel. She's got CDs that are available. The one from 2015 is called Spectacular. And she also has one Indiegogo campaign. It's been, she raised money on Indiegogo for that campaign. Her music is inspirational from everyday life experiences. And so she's very relatable. And I know you're going to enjoy listening to Jennifer today. So we have prayer requests that are submitted typically into this sweet box that you see on the screen. Since the building's closed, we're not taking the paper, but you can email, you can go online, you can call directly to Silent Unity. Either way, you can go online to Silent Unity, you can go online to our website. If you submit your prayer request through us here locally, we pray over your requests, and then we send them on to Unity Village, to Silent Unity, where they're prayed over for another 30 days. There has been someone in prayer at Unity Village at Silent Unity for over 130 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And while the call center hours have changed, that commitment to holding that nonstop prayer vigil has not changed. And someone is always there to take your request, to let you know that your truth is always being seen and known. And so let's take a moment right now. If you haven't had a moment to submit your prayer request, go ahead right now and just in consciousness submit it, and we'll include it with our prayer this morning. So let's take a deep breath in And slowly release. Just going back to that prayerful state, that connection to the truth within us all, to that truth of God's presence in all things, in all circumstances, in all moments, in all persons. There is only God. There's only truth. There's only love, peace, and joy, which we can choose in any given moment, in any circumstance. And for all the requests that have been submitted, and those that haven't been submitted, but we know that they're on your heart in this moment, we just know, and we reaffirm that there is no prayer request too small or too great for that power that we know is God. There's no degree of request. It doesn't matter if it's for health or well-being or relationship, finances, whatever it is, the answer is always yes, yes, yes. And we open our minds in this moment and we claim our good. We open our hearts to whatever the answer is for us, that we may see and hear and know truth. For this power of prayer, for this presence of that divine nature we know as God, we simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. The mission and vision statement of Unity of the Hill Country: to live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all. I love these two statements, and I love them even together. It's just powerful and clear and simple to know that that's our intention, to live consciously in every moment, always celebrating the divine potential, regardless of the expression of that moment. We know that divinity exists. So today, our daily word reader is going to be Mandy Scott. And I might have forgotten to tell her that I didn't recruit someone else to do it today. So Mandy.
You're all good. I'm set. I got it ready.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so today's daily word is will. Spiritual understanding guides my will. Each day, I use my will to make decisions, big and small, that affect the quality and direction of my life. Through the use of my human will, I may make choices out of fear or a sense of lack, or I may be driven by my desire for convenience, comfort, or the pleasures of the moment. The use of my spiritual will, however, directs my choices toward a greater awareness of my divine nature. As I grow spiritually, I use my will to shine my Christ light even more brightly. I grow in willingness to co-create with God as I release my willfulness to do everything on my own. As I live more intentionally from my divinity, the light of spiritual understanding dawns within me and directs my will. I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that's from Joshua 1:9.
Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. So if anyone out there is interested in reading the Daily Word one of these weeks, if you know you're going to be joining us online, just call Mandy at the office and let her know, or send us an email. You can send it to me at minister@unityhillcountry.org or Mandy at secretary@unityhillcountry.org. We like to have participation from as many people as we can. And when I don't get someone recruited, then Mandy's the backup. And I appreciate her for always being willing to do that. So she is a valued resource in our organization. So So today I gave you a little bit of an introduction to Jennifer Ferren. I do want to tell you too, whenever Lynn retired at the first of the year, I was very fortunate to find Jennifer had actually recorded all of the music and even a voice track for all of the songs in the Wings of Song songbook. So that's how I first met her, because she was had that resource and I was able to get it from her. And then as I was recruiting people to come and join us virtually, of course, she's part of that posse team that of musicians. And you can find all the posse music at empower I think it's .org, Empower Music. But you'll be able to see Jennifer there as well and listen to her music. And you can also find Jennifer on Facebook at Jennifer Ferren, Atlanta, Georgia, which is her home, where she lives with her husband, Eddie, and her daughter is actually in music theater school in Syracuse. So, Jennifer?
Hello. Hi, everyone. This is a song that I recorded with my good friend David Leonard about 8 years ago, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to afford all of the recording and to make it really pretty and fluffy. And when I picked it up, he surprised me, and he had gifted me with a lot of his work. So, you know, sometimes life can be really, really awesome. All the time, if we choose to see it all the time. But especially when we choose to walk in each other's shoes and understand and have compassion for each other. And that's what this song is about. It's called I Will Walk a Mile. I will walk a mile in your shoes. Will you walk a mile in mine if I ask you to? 'Cause when we understand each other, no one has to lose. So I will walk a mile with you. Oh, humanity, it's time to get this right. Honor and respect each other, shine that inner light. Oh, we can find a balance so it's even on all sides. Step outside our egos and let love be our guide. So I will walk a mile in your shoes. Will you walk a mile in mine if I ask you to? We can understand each other and no one has to lose. So I will walk a mile with you. I choose to comprehend. I choose to be your friend. As we travel down this road, we will learn all we can. Each day will be brand new, with love to see us through on this path that I walk with you. Oh, I will walk beside you to better understand you. 'Cause when we can respect each other, no one has to lose. So I will walk a mile in your shoes. And you can walk a mile with me too. Oh, I will walk a mile with you.
That was beautiful. This is our applause for you. Since clapping online would not sound great. So thank you so much, Jennifer. We're looking forward to hearing more from you after the talk. So let's just take a moment now and join in a period of meditation, just to get us centered and so let's just close our eyes together and take a deep breath in. And slowly release that breath. Together, let's take another deep breath in and just notice, allow your body to just move. Your shoulders may lift a little bit as you take that deep breath. And then as you release that breath, you may notice that your shoulders just sink and fall to the sides. Just allowing your body to fully relax. Just bring your attention to the rising and falling of your breath, wherever it may be. You may notice it in your chest. You may notice it in your belly area. Just be present with the breath, moving in and moving out. It's taking a little respite within yourself. Becoming present, mindful, and aware. The subtleties of your breath, the feeling of your body, the busyness of your mind. Simply be with your thoughts, be with your feelings, and be present in your environment. As we allow our awareness to fine tune, to be more and more present in this moment. We let go of thoughts of the past or concerns about the future, and we just repose in ourselves in this moment. In that secret place of the Most High, in a moment of silence. In this sweet stillness, we come to know and to be connected more and more clearly, more and more fully with that absolute good, that divine nature alive and well in every one of us. As we take a deep breath in together and release, we bring our attention back to this present moment, and we come from that perspective, that frame of mind, that consciousness of divinity. For this truth and for the power of our awareness of the truth, we simply say thank you. Thank you, thank you. And so it is. So this month of June, we've been focusing on compassion and cultivating compassion, steps that we can take in our lives and things that we can do to become aware of ways in which we're not compassionate, and things that we can do to bring ourselves more into connection with our compassionate nature. And I started thinking, does everybody really want to be compassionate? We kind of think that you should, and it would be natural to want to be more compassionate. And it seems sometimes that there are plenty of people who are not interested in compassion. So I know you all probably are, but let's just talk today a little bit about why. Why is compassion something we even have on our list of things that we'd like to have more of in our life? And we know from the Bible and other ancient texts that compassion has always been thought to be holy. And Colossians 3:12, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. So kindness has always been put right there with love, and compassion as well. And of course, we know love is the number one primary teaching of Jesus, our way shower. And also many other teachers have taught love. And Buddha says, this is a quote that I verified. A lot of quotes are attributed to Buddha and Einstein that are not theirs, but this one is a verified Buddhist quote. When watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. So compassion is a way to deepen your self-care. And not just compassion for yourself, but compassion for others. What you do for others, how you feel about others, is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And the Dalai Lama says, in these current days, Dalai Lama, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. And if you want to be happy, practice compassion. So it sounds like a grandiose idea. Practice compassion, practice compassion. We've been talking these weeks about cultivating compassion. But to be compassionate, to come from that consciousness of compassion in everything you do and say, seems almost impossible. And it does at times appear like we're sacrificing self in order to be compassionate in any given moment. But it's actually, as the Buddhist quote said, you're doing for yourself. And there's a lot of scientific evidence. And so let's just talk about, I love the Greater Good magazine from UC Berkeley. And so Berkeley University is always studying positive psychology and the effects of gratitude and compassion. And so from this article, 3 insights from the cutting edge of compassion research, we've got some points to share with you. So our nurturing and caregiving can only come online if we're more habitually if our more habitual self-preservation and vigilant to threat systems, which is that fight or flight mode, that reptilian brain survival mechanisms, if they're not monopolizing the spotlight. Now, if you're in survival mode, if you're dealing with crisis, sometimes it's really hard to even think about getting to the point where you're thinking of compassion, because you're in reactive mode, and that's the only mode you can be in. But there are so many techniques that you can use to shift yourself from that survival mode into a more present and self-actualized mode. And one of those is breath work. Many of you who've been to my sound journey meditations, I teach ujjayi breath, where you close the back of your throat and you're breathing, and it sounds almost like you're falling asleep. I don't even know if you can hear that, but that has an effect on that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight nervous system. But you can calm yourself from the anxiety and the fear in order to get yourself prepared to be coming from that position of compassion. And a strong sense of social support and safety around people put your self-preservation impulses at ease. So when you have a community like your Unity of the Hill Country community, and right now, since we're all in isolation or separation or whatever you want to call it, we're not seeing one another face to face as much. That's why these opportunities to come together online, at least to see one another virtually, it really makes a big difference. It helps us to stay connected. I've had 2 separate virtual chats, one on FaceTime and one on Zoom this week. And one of them is a new friendship, a lady in the UK that we're just becoming friends. But we're not able to get together face to face, but we're still able to get to know one another. And this is an important factor. It also lowers that anxiety that comes from that reptilian brain, that fight or flight mechanism. And there are things that you can do even over and above just lowering that stress level, is actually do compassion training. You know, we've been talking these past few weeks about cultivating compassion, but they have courses and they're not very expensive on a number of different Udemy and Sounds True and a lot of different programs that you can participate with Thich Nhat Hanh or Pema Chodron. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can go on and be involved, especially now that you may be spending more time at home. You can reach out to these courses, and I've been sharing on our Facebook page a lot of different courses that have been offered for free. These have very minimal costs to them, but it's a way to keep yourself primed to expand with compassion. And mindfulness increases compassion. And the data suggests that your compassion comes more readily if you're more openly aware of the present moment. So if you're present and you're paying attention, you're being mindful, that's what mindful is, to be aware of what you're feeling, aware of how you're responding to things, to be paying attention to the present moment, particularly in the presence of suffering. So you don't get triggered by other people's suffering if you're more mindful. You can be present for it. You can see the things that are happening. You can have empathy and compassion, but not necessarily get drawn into it. And I'm changing what I'm sharing right now because I want to share a video. So let me see if I can switch over. I haven't tried this in a while because there have been times when it hasn't been very successful. So right now, I'm going to share something. Yes, I think it's working. Hopefully.
My friend told me he often went to the same little corner grocery store in his neighborhood. One day, he realized that though it was usually the same woman working there each time, he hardly ever noticed much about her. He felt shocked at himself and thought, for all I really pay attention to her, she might as well be a cash register with arms. So he went into the store, determined to actually pay full attention to her. The first thing he noticed was that she was singing along to something playing on the radio, and that she had a really beautiful voice. When he said that to her, she responded with a wide, radiant smile. As soon as he told me that story, I realized that I too often went into the same store and also had hardly noticed that woman, except for maybe a vague sense that perhaps she was a little grim. I made a plan. I'm going to go into the store, say to her, I heard you have a really beautiful voice, and watch her get really happy and give me a beautiful smile. But when I went into the store, actually paying full attention to her, the first thing I noticed was that she was already smiling broadly. Wait, what happened to a little bit grim? I realized again how much of a person we miss when we don't pay attention. People are people, not pieces of furniture. We each have a life, a story, changing moods, joys, sorrows. And if we pay attention to one another, we recognize that, and our lives are enriched by a continuing sense of discovery. That's the opening to true compassion. Sometimes we think of compassion as a gift, which we've either gotten or we haven't. If we haven't, we're out of luck. Or we think of compassion as some kind of emotional reaction that spontaneously erupts out of us. I think of compassion as a natural result that comes from actually paying attention. That means we can continue to cultivate it.
We'll go switch back to our slides, hopefully. So you can see by that example how just being present in the moment changes the whole moment. If you're paying attention to what's going on around you, you're connecting in with people, with their moods, with their vibrations, with where they are, and they may not be paying attention to you, but the fact that you're paying attention to them can create a moment of compassion. Now, the brain is really, I love brain science. And so in this same article, they're talking about how compassion registers in the brain more like eating chocolate. So the same centers, the pleasure centers that fire off when you're eating chocolate, is the same pleasure centers that fire off in your brain when you're being compassionate. And the interesting thing is, you think compassion is for someone else, and so it's more of a pro-social behavior, like you should do it, it's a good thing. And so that's how he compares it to eating Brussels sprouts. So eating Brussels sprouts is what you would do. It's good for you, good fiber, good nutrients, and you would eat Brussels sprouts more out of your pro-sociability, sociality. So in order to do the right thing, you might eat Brussels sprouts, but you may not really get pleasure out of it. I happen to like them, but you may or may not get pleasure out of Brussels sprouts. So compassion, while it seems like you're doing something for other people, in fact, the brain science shows it gives you pleasure in the same areas of the brain. So I thought that was really amazing, because it's not just about what you're doing for other people. Being compassionate actually makes you happy on a cellular level. So the brain actually shows, you see these little diagrams over here of the areas of the brain that it was part of his talk. You can find that in the same site. But the biases, the brain, the this compassion actually biases the brain to glean more positive information from the world, something called the carryover effect. So when you're compassionate and you're expressing compassion, you're being present to that moment, and that firing of that positive, those centers of pleasure in your brain, it actually has a carryover effect in your life. You begin to see the world in a more positive way. Your mind is conditioned to more positivity. So compassionate actions such as, giving to charity or reaching out to someone activates those pleasure circuits. So that's so exciting to know that compassion gives you that feel good electrical current in your brain. Now, children know this. We've talked about this the last few weeks as we're talking about compassion and cultivating compassion. As children, we're naturally empathetic. And so with that natural empathy comes an expression of compassion to one another. The same thing with our animals. If you've ever been in an off mood, your dog or your cat will come over and they'll snuggle with you and they'll give you love and affection. That just comes naturally. But somewhere along the way, as human beings, dealing with the world, sometimes feeling unsafe, getting into that survival mode at different times through trauma, it might be emotional or physical, or dealing with life, dealing with work, dealing with people. Somehow we've moved away from being comfortable and trusting that empathy that our animals just naturally express. As human beings, we put up guards and walls, and we've looked at the world with circumspect and distrust. But we can actually, as we were talking about these last few weeks, cultivate more compassion, open our heart to more empathy, and give ourselves the opportunity to live from that place of compassion and create a happier and more fulfilling life, to find more positivity and more love and more good experiences just by choosing to open ourselves up. So the evening routine was a part of what we have been talking about the last few weeks. There was a morning routine of setting your intentions, and then an evening routine as you're practicing compassion. So I want to encourage you to continue with this. And the evening routine is just about, thinking about your day, reviewing how you set your intention in the first place, and then how well did you do? It's not to judge yourself or criticize. It's just to say, if I want to be a more compassionate, empathetic, and present individual, more mindful of my abilities to be compassionate and to be present, to be purposeful. How did I do? And how could I do better? And what can I learn from the experiences? Because maybe you didn't do your best that day, or you did your best and you still think you could do better. It's just about giving yourself that same compassion that you're cultivating to express to others. So this week, because mindfulness is so key to compassion, let's just be more mindful. So in your weekly practice, be intentional. Be intentional about how you want to be present in the world. If you want to express more compassion, be present in the moments that are there for you, whether it's in your home with your significant other, your family members, whoever it is that you are allowing yourself to be around these days, or even if it's virtually, if it's on FaceTime or commenting on Facebook or wherever you happen to be connecting in with people. Just observe how you can express more compassion and observe the effect that it has on you as you're being more compassionate with others in your life. And then just act in that way that you know will bring you that pleasure, will activate your pleasure centers in your brain. Because it's for you. You have to first, as they say when you're on an airplane, put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help others with theirs. So that's what compassion can do. It can put that oxygen mask on us first, and then we're more present to offer that help and that support and that love and compassion to others around us. Thank you. So we'll have some more music by Jennifer Ferren. So excited for her to be here. She's done such a beautiful job. Jennifer?
So speaking of love and compassion, here's a song I've done a number of times at a couple of churches in Texas, actually. It's called Love, Compassion, Understanding Peace. Love, compassion, understanding peace. Spirit, won't you help with each and every one of these? Love, compassion, understanding peace. I want to heap and help and love and please. I'm aware I already have them. I know they're mine. But when I stop and think about them, that's when I shine. Love, compassion, understanding peace. Spirit, won't you help with each and every one of these? Love, compassion, understanding peace. I want to heap and help and love and please. Spirit, 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 help me, please. I'm doing the best I can. These 4 words on my plan. Love, compassion, understanding peace. Spirit, won't you help with each and every one of these? Love, compassion, understanding peace. I want to hear and help and love, please. Spirit, 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 help me, please. I'm doing the best I can. These 4 words on my plan. Love, compassion, understanding peace. Spirit, won't you help with each and every one of these? Love, compassion, understanding peace. I want to hear and help and love, please. Cha-cha-cha.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was awesome. Appreciate you so much. I love that. I'm going to be singing that. That will definitely be a little earworm. I'll be singing that song.
It's my little ode to 50s doo-wop.
I love it. Thank you so much. So this is our time where we reflect on our opportunity to give, and I, continue to express my gratitude and appreciation. Our whole community is so grateful for the generosity and the continued support, financially, emotionally, prayers that you've been able to give. And we continue to, hold down the fort and prepare for when we can actually come back together face to face. So let's just bless those offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I send it forth with my blessings and my love. And we close with our prayer of protection with James Dillett Freeman. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. So we'll see you virtually next week. Invite your friends to join us. Send our link. And now we're going to stop sharing this, and we'll have our time to, let's see, I'm trying to do gallery view. There we go. Greeting time. Hello, everybody.
Hi, good morning.
I brought this as a reminder that if you are going to socialize for 4th of July, be sure to wear a mask.
Come
Hi,
here.
Barbara.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
Sarah's been listening patient this whole time.
How sweet.
to look at the
Mark and Gayleen and Dave. Hey. Alan and Paul. Yeah, there you go, Jennifer. You got
Hi,
your mask.
Hetty.
Hello. Hi, Hetty. Hi, Jack
Hi,
and
Jack.
Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Danny.
Hey, BK.
Hi, Danny. Hi,
Danny.
Mandy.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Ellen.
everybody.
I
Hi,
see
everybody.
Kara's online with us. Hi, Kara.
Hi, everyone.
I love your mask, Beverly.
Thank you.
Love you, Gayleen.
Well, everybody have a safe holiday
You too.
and be safe, be well, wash your hands, wear your mask in public. And